I'm Miles Johnson, a junior communications major, sports journalism minor, and I attend Morehouse College. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, but I grew up in Philadelphia. My passion for writing has been with me since the third grade. I remember writing journals and journals, pages and pages, when I was really young, just about whatever was going on in my life. And that was just something that really interests me, and that was a passion of mine at a young age. Now, as I got older, I started to play other sports, but specifically soccer, and I thought I would end up being a soccer player. Once I realized that those chances were pretty slim, I realized, you know what, I want to get into sports journalism, and I want to get into that field. 3 skills I will bring to the Discover the Unexpected Fellowship is 1, planning and researching skills, number 2, teamwork and interpersonal skills, and number 3, social media software skills. I believe I should be chosen for the 2021 Discover the Unexpected Fellowship because I bring a perspective that no one else can bring. Being from Morehouse, an all-male black institution, there's not too many black male that can say that in America. Also, playing soccer, having that as part of my background, there aren't too many kids that in America that have that experience. And Angela Duckworth, she said it perfectly, and she's the author of Grit. She says, "Grit is the bringing together of passion and perseverance. Grit is what makes people successful." I believe that encompasses myself, having a stutter, but not allowing that to dictate what I can and cannot do, and actually becoming a communications major in spite of the challenges that I might face. I believe that makes me the perfect candidate, the perfect fellow in this fellowship. So how do I approach content creation? Well, I approach content creation in my podcast, Real Talk with Miles Johnson. And it's a podcast that covers all sports, but I specifically cover the NFL and NBA majority of the time. And that is because majority of my audience looks at or watches the NFL and the NBA. So I want to gear my content to what they want to hear and their interests. Now the audience, or whether it's desktop users and mobile users, is very short. For desktop users, it is 2.5 seconds on any social platform. For mobile users, it is 1.5 seconds. So for the average user, it is a limited amount of time that they will watch your stuff. So you have to have engaging content and ultimately have content that they are interested in to ultimately get people to listen to your content, engage with your content, and have a great audience. So what is the future of journalism and content creation? Well, the future in journalism is social media. Back in the days when they used to use a newspaper, people would read a newspaper. That's not happening anymore. It is a new day and age. And I remember I worked for the Miss Patty Jackson, the radio personality in Philadelphia, and she told me that back 20 years ago, back when she started, it wasn't even social media wasn't even a thing. But she's had to adjust, and now she has Facebook Live, she has Instagram Live, she goes on YouTube with her show. That's never something that was never something that she had to do. But we're in a new day and age, and we've had to use social media to ultimately get our message out there. People want to see stuff right now, right here, right now. Whether that's an alert, whether that's a notification, whatever it is, people want to get their news right now. So I believe the future of journalism is social media, and I can't see that changing anytime soon. So how do I use my social media channels to uplift Black, Indigenous, people of color stories? Well, in my podcast, matter of fact, my very first YouTube video was with one of my great friends that I met through the leaders of the Free World Fellowship, Nevin Perkins. Now, Nevin, he created his own organization in New Jersey City called Black Men United. And it's a Pan-African organization. As a matter of fact, I'm going to roll the clip right now where I actually conducted an interview with him. Can you give a little insight on what you do as well with activism in New Jersey and all that?
Absolutely. So I founded an organization called Black Men United. It's a Pan-African organization, and we do revolutionary survival programs in our neighborhoods, making sure that people got resources and things they need, dealing with the houseless community. Also, advocating against social justice issues and working on the ground, from protests to just building with the community, doing different initiatives.
In that interview, me and Nevin talked about his platform and what he does, as well as what he thinks about the NBA last season with the NBA boycott with George Floyd and all that last summer. And it was a very interesting conversation about his perspective on what the NBA, he thinks should have done, or what they should have been able to capitalize off the opportunity. So it was a great conversation, and I was happy to, share his story, share why he does what he does, and also have somebody else with a different perspective on my podcast. I wanted to use my platform to uplift black journalists and just black people in general, because I see that there aren't too many people that look like me, look like you in this world, right? And I want more people, more black journalists. The same way how there is 70% of the NFL is black, or mostly there are black NBA players. I want that to be the same way, or at least have some, not there be that much of a disparity between sports and media, or sports and journalists. I feel like there should be more people that look like me in the industry, and I want to use my platform to not only help that cause, but all people, whether it's social justice, whether it's athletes. I want them to tell their stories, and I'm gonna use my platform to spread that message. So how will I use my content creation skills to help make a platform for black-owned newspapers? Well, first, let me list off the skills I believe I have. First, I believe I have great written and verbal communication skills, as well as being skillful with social media software. And that includes TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, as well as Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Photoshop, and Canva. I've used all of those, whether that is editing or creating thumbnails as well. Now, I believe in content creation, we have to define our audience. We have to define who do we want our content to reach, who are we talking to, as well as mapping out hashtags. Hashtags are a big thing, and I've had only in my podcast, I've had 400 followers on Instagram, but I've gotten more views on my stuff because of the hashtags, right? So you have to be very strategic in your hashtags. And finally, you have to define your themes and your topics. Whatever our topics may be, we have to define them clearly so our audience knows what they are.